Forsaken, abandoned to the dark, what choice but to follow the flame? To seize the world with this fire is to see it burn first.
Hello and welcome everyone, I'm Space Wizard Total War, and welcome to a brand new Immortal Empires campaign, this time playing as the Chaos Dwarves and Astragoth Ironhand. For our campaign, we're actually going to be running quite a few mods. We've got a couple of the normal kind of quality of life mods you know and love, like better camera and building progression. We are also going to have three kind of major mods we're going to be running this time. The first of which being the Chaos Dwarf Aerial Supremacy, which actually is going to be adding 2 aerial units for the Chaos Dwarves roster that is going to be mirroring 2 from others. The Sky Junk from Cathay, and then the Thunder Barge from the Dwarfs. So we're going to be trying to gain those into our armies as soon as we can. We'll try our best to get kind of a themed up aerial army for at least one of our lords there. It should be lots of fun. Alright, and apologies if we have a few cuts here kind of early on. I do still have a construction crew outside, and they are pouring kind of the last little layer of asphalt. It is very loud, so I might cut those on out, that way you guys' ears aren't accosted by just constant vibrations from the apartment here. So the second major mod we're going to be running is OVN Lost World, which is going to be reskinning pretty much all of the major settlements and quite a few of the minor settlements to be quite a bit more thematic and just a bit more flavorful for our map, so it should make our campaign a lot more fun. The third mod we have is going to be the Victory Conditions Overhaul, which is going to give us kind of 3 new victory winning paths, so we'll have 3 new ways to kind of win our campaign. We'll have kind of thematic rewards based on which path we do complete. We're going to go ahead and try to complete all 3 here for this fun Astragoth campaign, just to see how many of those buffs we can stack up and just how powerful we can become through it. So with Astragoth, we have Astragoth Ironhand strikes out from Zorn Uzkul to subjugate the Dark Lands, remaining rabble who shall toil for his industries of war and conquest. We've got a pretty fun kind of black and brass color scheme for our armies, which should be lots of excellent, oppressive looking lads. We start off with Goblin Laborers, which are terrible, but good for soaking up damage for us and kind of just being a tar pit. We are going to have some Bull Centaur Renders with dual axes, which are amazing at ripping through infantry, and they're going to be the main kind of bulk of Astragoth's army. He has lots of skills that are going to buff up how tanky and how killy your Centaurs are going to be, so it should be lots of fun and lots of Bull Boys. We're going to also have some Orc Laborers, which are just a little bit better of an expendable meat shield because they have an armor-piercing damage, so they've got big hammers to smash through enemy armor. Makes them a little bit better at being expendable. They punch back quite a bit harder. We also have some Chaos Dwarf Blunderbusses, which are an insanely powerful unit. Very low range, but very high damage shotgun. Rips right through armor and pretty much can take down anything with a couple sustained volleys. Fantastic unit. Lastly, we'll have ourselves some Chaos Dwarf weapons with great weapons, or Chaos Dwarf Warriors rather, that is, with great weapons. They're just going to be kind of your typical, they're basically an analog to the Dawi with great weapons. So very good, very high armor. Actually have a little bit higher melee attack than their dwarf brethren, but with less melee defense. As for our faction effects, we're going to have Conclave Influence gain from all sources plus 10%. We are going to gain a 10% research rate across the board, and 2 extra control for all of our provinces. I also made the mistake of doing my daily workout kind of right before this episode, so if I sound out of breath, I'm fine. I've done a few push-ups and squats, so we are a little bit tired. For our Lord effects, we've got the passive ability there, Mechanical Overdrive, which is going to have the base weapon damage and melee attack increasing as we gain kills with Astragoth himself, which is very fun. We're going to have extra replenishment rate for his army plus 5%, and more ward save for all of our Bull Centaur Renders, which is going to make them so tanky on top of their already extreme killing potential. Should be a lot of fun. We are going to be drowning the world in hooves and shotgun pellets. For our map, we're going to be starting in Zorn Uzkul with only one settlement under our control. It's been a long time since I've done a Astragoth campaign. For our lore, we are going to have the most feared figure within the Great Conclave of Hashut's priesthood is the High Priest himself, Astragoth Ironhand. Once the most potent sorcerer to walk the plane of Zor in 1,000 years, his body now succumbs to petrification, an indication of his slowly waning powers. His legs having long ceased to work, Ironhand has constructed a mechanical device by which he is transported from place to place, and his completely petrified hands have been replaced by machinery grafted to his body. These contraptions were constructed by Astragoth's thralls to plans of his own design, combining the undoubted engineering skills of the Chaos Dwarfs with his own dark, twisted science. White. For our campaign here, we are actually going to be playing on very hard. I would like to go on Legendary, but we do have the issue that, well, that gives us the Battle Realism mode, which is quite a bit obnoxious, where you're forced to stay right next to your units. You can't go ahead and check out the enemy and have a good cinematic view of the battle, so we're going to keep that as is. We're also going to get rid of all of the in-game scenarios and keep the enemy stats modifier set to neutral. And as I'm saying that, let's actually go ahead and turn on in-game scenarios. We're also going to go ahead and have Ultimate Crisis, so all of them activate. We'll keep the Black Pyramid. Let's get rid of A Grudge Too Far. Let's keep the Biggest Wah. And something like this. Should be a lot of fun. Plenty more workers for the mines. Let's get this campaign started.
Wanrakma Wattlebarak Drungma Baharasta Epirtu.
Wherever my walker rig takes me, we will burn to ash. He's the angriest old man there ever was. Get of my lawn taken to an extreme. So how they play, the Disciples of Hashut were going to be fighting battles to gain the necessary labor. They're just laborers to maximize the efficiency of our industrial economy. We'll be balancing kind of extra resources here in this campaign. Besides just treasury, we will have raw materials, armaments, and conclave influence, which will both be, or all three be used on different items. So we will be spending armaments in the Hellforge to increase our unit capacities and strengths. Awesome. I'll be using conclave influence to claim powerful seats in the Tower of Zar. They're going to significantly strengthen our faction. And we are going to also dispatch military convoys to locations across the world to navigate risks en route and benefit our industrial economy. It's kind of like a boosted version of the Cathay caravan system, which is very strong, and I kind of wish they would kind of give the Cathayan caravans a nice overhaul to kind of match. We're going to be spending our raw materials mostly on buildings for our actual settlements. You can actually already see here, we've got our first mission issue to engage the enemy, defeating an army belonging to the Slaves of Zar. Our enemies gather to strike against us. We'll gain 500 treasury for defeating them. But look how Uzkulak looks now. So much larger. It's all the extra kind of models out on the map as well. That is the other thing that the OVN Lost World has done, is where possible they've added extra models to the map to kind of make each area look a bit more full and lived in. So they've got the gates and everything. We can kind of look down at a few of the settlements here where Zarnagrund is quite a bit taller and more imposing. It looks amazing. This will probably be making quite a few times here. The Chaos Dwarf lands already were quite thematic, so any more additions just make it look even better. Kind of all the oil rigs going along the sides, or the magma rigs. The Gates of Zar are now quite a bit larger, and much more gatey. Then you come on down to the south and see, we actually can see the Darkhold, interestingly enough. Can we see the model for the Black Fortress? No such luck. But pretty much all of the major settlements can have a little bit of a change to how they look. Looks like Black Crag here doesn't look too much different. So maybe they perhaps also have to be claimed by the proper faction as well. We'll find out. So far, I really like what I've seen just in the Chaos Dwarf areas. Alright, so we've got our first hero here being a Bull Centaur Toruk, which is an incredible anti-large duelist as well as just a good duelist of enemy heroes. We'll go ahead and get him named as our first Kevin. So he will be, instead of Zorak, he'll be Kevin. Let's say... What should we call you, Kevin? In fact, I'll leave that to you all. Post in the comments, what should our moniker be for Kevin here? What should his epithet be? The blank. So for now, he's just Kevin, the Bull. We'll have him come on over to join up with Astragoth, and what should his trait be? We've got him Superior. Not a bad one, but not an amazing one either. Just 5 extra attack and defense. Makes him a little bit better on the duel. He looks incredible. Just a Bull Centaur, or a blend of a Bull and Chaos Dwarf. Horrifying combo. They're actually considered, I think they showed a couple times, they actually eat Chaos Dwarfs. They're some of the only cannibals that are directly noted in Chaos Dwarf Society. They're also the Temple Guardians for all of the different temples of Hashut. We can select one and it locks the others. I mean, likely Murderous Charge is the way, right? Extra mass, charge bonus, charge speed. Beautiful. And then that one will give us Seeing Red as well. Extra attack and strength. Effective Agent makes them better at being a hero. Or at least a campaign map hero. Trusted Agent just boosting that up even further. Temple Guardian gives them, of course, Guardian to give your heroes and lords a little bit more resistance. Then Stalwart Defender gives them more armor and melee defense. And having one kind of one of each is probably a very good idea. They've also got Bulgor for more damage and charge bonus, Frenzy for more damage, melee to attack, and that immunity to psychology as long as they have a higher than half of their leadership. They've got Grotesque Mutations giving them terror, which is amazing. Then the Living Metal Flesh giving them more healing capacity and ward save. Do they have the ability to heal from combat right off the bat? I know they do later on. Or at least you're able to get it through your through either your skills or your research tree. But they've got a pretty good kind of standard melee line there. Getting Scarred Veteran and down to Colossal Strike, which gives them more weapon strength and bonus fee large, which is pretty incredible. And then immune to psychology if you don't already have Frenzy for them. Not bad at all. You go ahead and join right up with Astragoth. The other thing that OVN Lost World does is it adds these awesome little bits of flavor text and lore for all of the different settlements that might have it. So here we got the just one for Uzkalok. We'll go ahead and read this one at least, and I can probably read a few of them each episode there that we have, so a little bit of a lore splashes here and there. So we've got Uzkalok as a city of the Dawizar that served as the original seat of the Dwarfs of the East before the Great Catastrophe transformed their society into that of the Chaos Dwarfs. Around 1000 IC, in order to fuel the ever-increasing demand for slaves in the Dwarf Empire, or the Chaos Dwarf Empire, a great sea canal was constructed underground, linking the Falls of Doom in the north of Zardagrund, with the Sea of Chaos to the west of Uzkalok, giving the Chaos Dwarf fleet an exit to the north. Uzkalok is a strange, secretive place, and the bustling workings of its great slave port and anchorage hide an ancient inner city. It is little more than a heavily garrisoned tomb. The forbidden lower levels of Uzkalok are shunned, even by its masters, and be consigned to its depths as a punishment reserved for the Oathbreakers and Blasphemers, as the worst fate the Chaos Dwarfs can bestow. A fact which, given the malevolent intentiveness of the Demonsmiths in such matters, speaks much of the horrors which must abide there. Indeed. It's also going to produce us some iron. Pretty awesome looking model, too. Well done, lads. We're going to start out with Uzkalok at tier 2. It's going to have a giant conveyor which needs 100 workforce, and we're going to start with, looks like 500 labor, and we need at least 100 to keep everything up and running. So we are going to be balancing in all of our provinces the amount of labor to workload, and that way we are going to be maximizing and keeping our work materials, or all of our raw materials and armaments flowing. We also are going to have labor actions where we can just kind of sacrifice bits of our labor to do different things, like gain conclave influence, generate treasury, and gain some more control. Usually I'm going to be spending it early in the early tiers and even in the late game getting just conclave influence, because claiming more seats is going to be how you become much more powerful, and how you confederate the other Chaos Dwarf factions without even having to use anything through diplomacy, which is incredible. So Uzkalok is also going to be gaining us extra conclave influence because we are playing as Astragoth. Each of the 3 Chaos Dwarf legendary lords have different things that their towers are going to provide, his being the conclave influence. I'm not sure what the other 2 provide. I think the one for Drazowith is either research rate or armaments, but that being what it is. We've also got the lava fields, which allow us to recruit Bull Centaur Taruks, give us a little bit of extra Chaos Dwarf or Chaos Undivided Corruption, and unlock the recruitment of Bull Centaur Renders and Great Taurus, which are going to be fantastic. Not so much the Great Taurus, but the Bull Centaur Renders are going to be incredible. As for landmarks and besides our giant conveyor, we have the Ancient Inner City. Well, and this is part of that flavor text we saw a little bit earlier. So it's going to unlock the Bull Centaur Rooks in all provinces, give them a little bit of a boost to their recruit rank, and then upkeep production for all of your actual render units as well. It'll also bump up the garrison, giving them 2 renders with great weapons, which are just insanely powerful. What else should we go for here? I tend to like to grab in the patrol routes pretty early on. As the Chaos Dwarves, you don't have anything like growth. As long as you have the resources to upgrade your settlements, you always can. So we'll have to keep kind of that balance in mind. We'll want to keep all of our resources kind of going back to Uzkalok to start. Play a little bit tall and a little bit slow by reaping resources from other settlements. So let's go ahead and grab the patrol routes here to give us a little bit of control, as well as give us more movement range as long as we're in this province. Astragoth can move up here on a take down good old Dusty. Before we do, let's go ahead and take a look at good old Walker Boy. He has his mobility Walker, which is very murderous. We've also got some pretty excellent spells here, kind of a blend of Hashut and fire. He doesn't have the best of the fire spells. I believe Piercing Bolts of Burning would have been a little bit better, but Flamestorm's pretty good too. And Hellhammer is great at obliterating big lines of enemies or even just artillery pieces. He also gets the Greater Arcane Conduit, which makes him horrifyingly effective at casting spells. For his uniques, we've got the Salt Body, giving us extra Winds of Magic and more reserve minimum. Master of the Conclave gives us more diplomatic relations with the Warriors of Chaos, Demons of Chaos, Chaos Dwarves, Lower Kingdoms, Beastmen, and Norska. And then more allied recruitment cost reduction faction-wide. Unyielding Command is kind of just your normal Chaos Dwarf Lord leadership buff there. Architect of Evil gives you less armament costs for increasing the capacity of Bull Centaur units, which we're going to be making full use of, as well as less upkeep for Bull Centaur renders in his own army by 20%, which is very hefty. Also get a little bit of a bump to their armor-piercing damage. Piercing Intellect will give him bound uses of the Burning Wrath, 3 of them to be exact, and then it'll drop enemy Winds of Magic power reserve by 15 in the local region. Infernal Lord gives him more capacity for all heroes, and then all hero and lord rank is going to be +3 faction-wide. Only the strongest and best among his thrall may serve Astragoth. Lastly, we'll get the Dark Sacrifice, which will drop that Winds of Magic cost for Hellhammer and Hellhammer upgrading, allow you to throw Flaming Magma Hammers around left and right. Pretty dang good. Alright, with all that, let's go ahead and punch us some Chaos Dwarfs. Or I guess, ooh, that's a little bit wrong. Punch us some Greenskins. Hello, Dusty. I'm too used to battling the likes of Astragoth instead of playing as them. So Dusty has himself some Black Orcs, which is a little bit spooky. But we do have ourselves the shotguns that can just annihilate them in a couple blasts. Let's take to the field and bring in some more free labor. Alright, a nice open field for our first battle here should go nicely. Where is it good? We would definitely want to keep the terrain in mind for our Chaos Dwarf armies. Let's have the shotgun lads take a position. We'll do kind of a checkerboard here, so we'll grab Goblin Laborers, Blunderbusses, and then Able Orc Laborers, that is. We can kind of actually take up this valley. Doesn't give us the best firing positions, but it should work fine. We'll give ourselves kind of a checkerboard here with the Chaos Dwarf Blunderbusses. Control down a few times. We're in a bit more of a square formation, and we'll just kind of pull them back to here so they don't charge directly into them. We'll have Axe Lads ready to help out just in case. And then I'm going to have Astragoth and the Bull Centaur Renders running together. We first deal with the Wolf Riders, and then go maul his archers and the Lord. Alright, let's go ahead and also take a look at our units. More Goblin Laborers. They're all scarred up from getting whipped. They're loving to be out on the field and actually get a walk in, though. And they can stab a few lads and make someone else a little bit more miserable than themselves. Our Blunderbusses with 10 out of 10 hats. And the biggest shotguns they can find. Those are like the 4-gauge Russian shotguns. More Goblin Laborers on this side. We'll go ahead and swing back over to the proper lads. We've got the Orcs, but a lot of them are missing eyes. They've got the most dangerous jobs. And also a little bit more deadly weapons with these great big hammers and kind of big old axes, either for felling trees or for mining. Chaos Dwarf Warriors with their great weapons. Some gnarly looking axes. I definitely need 1 or 2 of these for my wall as well. My stash of replica weapons is going to get quite out of hand. Oh, they look great. Love the braided beards and the little twirlies. If you watch my Babylon playthrough, these guys kind of have the same, or at least they were the kind of the first to have the interaction where there is the malign authority for all of your slave units, where as long as there's a friendly unit with contempt in range, they're going to have a little bit more leadership. It doesn't really affect the Chaos Dwarves as much, and it doesn't actually give them any buffs to their actual melee attack, or melee defense that is, which it does over with the Salulu with the Babylonians, which is pretty fun. But the Chaos Dwarves also have the contempt, where if any units that are routing are not going to affect their leadership unless they also have contempt. So any of your just normal Chaos Dwarf units themselves, like the Blunderbusses or your Renders, are all going to kind of have this ability, so those slaves can be used exactly as intended without worrying about them too much. Alright, lastly, we'll go ahead and check the graphic settings here for any who are interested. Pause if you wish to see more, and we'll go ahead and get right back to it. Alright. Excellent stuff, let's go ahead and get it started. Firstly though, let's get everyone in their units. We'll get the main characters, our infantry, blunderbusses, and actually the renders can be the main characters as well. Push the laborers up just a little bit. And then we're going to go ahead and get their units a little bit more. Oh, we can't. Back to the stage then. And get the laborers' formations just a little bit more square and a little bit further ahead of the blunderbusses there. There we go. Battle begin. We're just going to go ahead and take this main position here. They're going to stay back and let us do kind of whatever we want, so let's take the high ground if we can. Get in there, lads. And thankfully we will have the option for the glorious slow-mo shots. And the Astragoth is so fast he can actually keep up with the renders, which is the best. Makes him more of a cavalry lord instead of what we would think he is. The boys running going into combat. And the blunderbuss is not being bothered to run, they're just going to walk. We're going to speed walk into position. Alright, glorious. Alright, Astragoth, let's go ahead and start charging around kind of the outside here. Make them real worried about it. I'm going to have the turret go center. Alright, lads, they're going to start moving towards you, so kind of fall back just a smidge, draw them on in. Rook, you get moving. He's Astragoth. And the black orcs are going to be an issue, but everything else I'm not really scared of. His archers will cleave at so many of our goblins, if we do want to kind of survive this battle for the next. Alright, Rook. Our big beefy boy. Well, that's what we'll call him. He's going to be Kevin the Beefy. I figured it out. Your votes now matter 0. Let's go ahead and give you the cascading fire cloak. Start ripping them apart. Go ahead and chuck the burning wrath into this group of gobbo archers. Which is an awesome spell. It drops down a kind of a vortex on top of the fireball effect. You can spin around and just deal with a lot of those archers. In fact, let's get us a nice slow-mo shot of it. Look at that, just that poor goblin getting launched. Doesn't last a real long time, but it's a pretty effective ability at just clearing out chaff. Alright, they got annihilated. Go ahead and bring it in now and go after... Keep chasing them for now. Astragoth, you go round. We're going to bring both these groups through the woods then. You guys go ahead and keep advancing. Let's get to the top of this hill. Let Astragoth and company kind of handle this then. Charge through these gobbo archers. Get him, get him. Burning Wrath crashes right in the middle. Go ahead and power up our Ulsendar renders this time. Getting a glorious charge in. Should rip them up nicely. You're going to have the renders going to charge through, though. That way, not taking too much return damage. Astragoth, you keep moving as well. You and your battle walkers shouldn't be getting attacked by the black orcs if we can help it. Our renders come back around and go after this group of archers. Archer Rook should be coming in after this group of archers as well. Shotguns should start blasting very soon. Bring these guys out of the way, and there's the first volley. That's going to get some damage on our renders as well, but the ward save should spare a little bit of their health. And they actually are the first units that actually had a proper ramrod reload. We missed it a little bit there, so they should start firing again. Go back on normal speed, we can see them blast away. Beautiful stuff. You two come on away from that group. Have the goblins charge. Go ahead and have these orcs charge their brethren there. Astragoth, go ahead and chuck fire into this group. Rook should rip them to shreds. Go ahead and send them through. Shotguns are going to blast right into our goblin front lines, and you guys fall back, and you two shotguns just tear him apart. Get moving through the woods. Destroy the black orcs. We're going to buff up the orc laborers. Which might seem goofy, but it's actually going to allow them to punch quite a bit harder into these black orcs. Shotguns, now delete this war boss. Looks like some of our slaves there are running for the hills. Circle back around for me. There's the first volley. Oh, they get the wall active. Renders, though, have charged on in. Looks like Astrogoth's getting engaged directly by the enemy lord. We're just going to pull him through. With his black orcs running away, he shouldn't be willing to fight too much longer at all. Him and the Taruk work together. Everything else here, just go ahead and fall back. Shotguns get you guys off of fire at will, and blast this war boss for me. Then draw him back on in. And there's the win. He didn't even want to get shot at by the shotguns. I just wanted to show them annihilating him. Just outside of their accuracy cone. Too bad. We'll get to show that off at least at some point here. Fairly good first battle here, spreading out that damage. Even if the goblins took a little bit more, probably friendly fire than they would want. Catch you in a moment. Alright, first win being as decisive as we wanted, but we didn't quite round up all of the labor we probably could have. We are going to go ahead and transport those captives on back to work as laborers in our mines. Welcome to your new homes, lads. They also got a potion of speed. Not bad. Awesome animation. Alright, so we've got that potion of speed on up, and we can go ahead and engage the enemy. We've got that 500 gold on in. Yeah, send Astragoth towards the Great Skull Lakes. We are going to go ahead and grab a route marcher first, because we want to gain as many labor captives gained post-battle as possible. So we'll go through his blue line first, and then come up back up to his main red line there, or his magic, that is. Route marcher first, and then we're going to go ahead and give you trading. That way all of our experience gain is increased by 10% for our next battle. And on we charge. Excellent, so another easy win for us. Again, kind of the same setup, just a lot more goblins this time. Let's see if our shotguns can mop them up properly. We go for a auto-resolve, we'll lose some of our goblin laborers. Let's see if that's actually true. I think our Bull Centaur renders are just going to feast. Alright, let's get to it. Start deployment. It kind of sets us up already in the lovely checkerboard that we had previously. I think we're going to do the exact same, except I'm going to switch the shotgun lines being a little bit closer. And also on the flanks instead of where they were previously, so a bit more like this. So more of an echelon instead of previous. So we'll have the great weapons be on this side. I'll just have the boys being behind and ready to charge through wherever they're needed. So 2-3 being in your own battle group is still perfect. The boys, the blunderbusses, and let's get this battle started. Go ahead and rotate a bit into the woods. Meanwhile, this group just goes straight after the Ghost Goblin Wolf Riders. Vajana Grund! Move forward there, lads. I'm gonna have Astragoth go and fire the Burning Wrath into these Goblin Archers, and then go after the Wolf Riders. You can hit shift, and then they should go after the next group immediately after. Beautiful, and I'm gonna have the Taruk. Oh, that's an amazing hit. Just starts throwing goblins around. Let's have Astragoth go after these archers. We'll give him the old potion of speed. Get that walker moving. I think it's going to be fine on the other side here. We'll go ahead and give the renders the extra damage here in just a moment. They shouldn't really need it to start here against these Wolf Riders. I'll launch another Burning Wrath in. Might be a little bit too close. Not bad. Give them that damage bump. Bring these guys back on in further. We'll have the boys move in and start crumping these archers. Mauling them in the woods, lovely. Should start running for the hills pretty quickly. If Astragoth can actually charge through units. He's not quite as good at it as like Scarbrand. He's still kind of a smaller model. We'll bring these guys out to the side and we can try to short them. These guys will be back, but they're not very scary. Oh, that first charge. Gore everywhere. Here's the next group. Those dual axes in there, lads. Should be a goblin mushroom with feast. And then go through to the next group of archers. Astragoth, go ahead and come on away just for a moment. Is everyone but this orc group keep moving? They're just gonna running away from us. Go through. They're mauling these archers before they can't really do anything about it. Oh, that damage. Burning Wrath into this group of orc boys, please and thank you. He has the same kind of charge through. Wow, that's incredible. How many kills are you up to? 38. You goblins are in for a really bad time. Charging. Those Wolf Riders are actually going to get a fair bit of damage on our goblin slaves there. But not for long. Here come the Renders. Might have been not paying attention just a bit there, so our shotguns are going to get a little bit of a probably an enemy charge. That group's gone. Turn around and get moving straight through. Blunderbosses give him the pepper. We haven't lost a single render here. And that's just incredible. You guys gonna stay back so you're not getting shot at by your own... Oh, there's a little bit of kinslaying going on there. The rampage is going. And they've activated the wall. Let's go ahead and give our goblin laborers a little bit more damage. Put up their melee attack to by up to 40. They don't do much damage, but each hit's at least landing. Turn here and eliminate this group. You guys go ahead and also turn so you're not doing too much kinslaying. There we go. The next group's going on back in. Let's have these, the Renders just go meet them. How incredible. Oh, we're having so much fun already. I missed you, Chaos Dwarves. The bulls are here. I'm going to run down as many of these guys as we can just for the extra experience, and I'll catch you in a moment. Alright, another decisive victory. This time we got some Fencer's Blades. We can actually add these on over to our Taruk, making him even more elite. We gained 19 slaves from that fight there, which is not too bad. We can occupy this as either as a factory or as an outpost. I think for this first one here at Dorjny Fort, we're going to go for an outpost so we can start generating up some actual raw materials. Sacking it first sounds good too, though. Yoink. We then come on back in and occupy it once more. But we don't get as many slaves this time. We'll go ahead and occupy this as a factory. Or I guess an outpost, that is. Perfect. Go ahead and repair for a lot of gold. That's unfortunate. And then this place has pastures. We can go ahead and get a recruitment reduction for Lamassu, Great Taurus, and Bale Taurus. There's no growth, so let's not actually go for that. Let's grab in the Hobgoblin mustering camp, so we can actually start grabbing some Hobgoblin units. We can use some of our labor to grab these guys immediately, which I think we will. Nah, we don't actually need them. Let's not use our labor in such a frivolous manner. I don't mind rushing the patrol routes for 200. Let's first go ahead and throw some sacrifices into Zonnegrund. So we send it to Zonnegrund to be sacrificed in the name of the Dark Father. I think they actually throw them in a big cauldron and just pour magma in, which is properly horrifying. So we'll send them on back, get us a little bit more conclave influence.
He's an
Astragoth. Oh, we have the ability to grab some Chaos Dwarf Warriors too. Sweet. I think we'll grab... Well, since we've already got the one unit of Dwarf Warriors with weapons, let's do the Great Weapons, that is. Let's go ahead and do the same. So we'll grab one more Great Weapon. One more of... Goblin Laborers are a lot cheaper. 37. Let's do one Orc Laborer and then one Great Taurus. Sounds excellent. Then we'll also go ahead and recruit up a new Sorcerer Prophet. This one of Death. Hateful of Order and Vengeful, so Perfect Vigor. Perfect Vigor is such a good trait. We get anything else, though? Ward Save. Chance of stealing items sounds pretty good. Okay, interesting. So what if we just went for an Overseer? We've got Bellicose and Irate. Alright, let's grab a Death Mage. And we'll have him be... Vengeful for Perfect Vigor. Yeah, but I was say that cooldown reduction to all spells, 10%, is pretty nice. It layers up with all the others. We'll go ahead and grab Higal Blackbeard. If you have any kind of unit name suggestions for either our units or our lords, go ahead and pop those in the comments below. Try to keep those all here on first episode if you can. That way I have an easier chance of keeping track of them. Perfect. Excellent. And then actually while we're here, we'll check out those new victory conditions we have. So we have Route 1 beneath its steel sky. So though Astragoth's petrification threatens to consume him completely, he refuses to succumb until the entirety of the Darklands bends to his will. Gathering his disciples, he sallies forth from Zorn Uzkul. We need to maintain the control of 7 provinces. Zorn Uzkul itself, Plain of Zar, Blasted Wastes, Wolflands, the Howling Wastes, Desolation of Asgore, and the Plain of Bones. And as soon as we do, we'll have the curse denied. And through subtle and arcane means, Astragoth transposes his own curse to unwitting disciples and thus postpones his own petrification indefinitely. Each season adds new ranks of petrified sorcerers to Zarnagrun's Causeway, and Astragoth's reign continues in perpetuity. Give him more hit points, more hero capacity for Demonsmith sorcerers, and less miscast chance for himself. Also get the Blood Rune Bracers, which have some pretty excellent abilities, including the Master of Fates. We'll also get Campaign Victory. No worries, we'll be doing all 3 routes here, and the game does continue until you gain your Domination Victory too if you wish. So Route 2 is the Culling. The Greenskins' numbers have grown out of control and now threaten to overwhelm the sparsely populated lands of the Dobbyzar. Astragoth must muster his disciples and awakens his demonic constructs. Let the Culling begin. We need to take down Grimgor's Ardboys, the Bone Ratless, and the Crooked Moon. And that'll give us an Old Foe Returns. And we'll have a dilemma, giving us a choice between powerful rewards. Beautiful. For the third one, we'll have Hashut Wakes. So one day Hashut shall rise from his slumber and trample the world beneath his brazen hooves. The dead shall outnumber the living, and those that remain shall be dragged into the chains to the pits of Zar, to toil for the greater glory of Hashut. All will be blessed darkness. We need to control Karak Kadrin, Kislev, Hellpit, Drakenhof, Altdorf, Nuln, Griffenwood, or the Brasskeep. We need 4 of those, and we need to capture 5,000 battle captives. That'll give us the Reign of Iron. Very good for allowing us to rush up construction and build things very quickly, up in factories, and then more income from all buildings as well, as the Writ of Iron, which is an item that gives us a additional rush construction labor cost reduction, less construction time in the local region, as well as construction cost. Amazing. Honestly, probably the first one we want to really go for. But we do need to secure the Darklands. We're going to come on in here and grab a Tyrant right off the bat for more income from both battle loot and a labor. We'll also make sure the Fencer's Blades go over to Kigal not Kigal. Have it instead. Ooh, you know what? We have a better name. We're calling you Bruce. This is Bruce Blackbeard. Get a good old alliteration going. Perfect. We got the warriors, we've got the laborers, and the great tours coming on in. Raw materials are flowing. We'll be able to see our labor economy, I think, once we have an additional province, and how the Chaos Dwarves were kind of the first to have a split economy. So there's 3 different trees we can go down. Military is going to buff up our, of course, our military units. Sorcery, which is going to be more for our wizards and a different kind of campaign benefits as well. And then industry is going to buff up our economy. We are going to go ahead and start with the labor quotas, which is going to give us even more labor gain from post-battle for all of our armies. Very good. And then probably circle over here to the tallest towers to get us even more control. We will be kind of bouncing around a little bit in the early. also come into our diplomacy, see if we can't gain some deals. Clan Ferric we can make a non-aggression pact with. And that's about it. I don't like that idea. We can trust the Skaven as far as we can throw them. Which, remember, with a normal Chaos Dwarf is not that far. Now let's go ahead and, yeah, we'll end the turn. We'll soon, I guess we'll show off the Hellforge too, won't we? So this is where we're going to be spending armaments to give us additional capacities for all of these different units, and as we actually go up these different tiers, we'll get different runes and different upgrades through the manufactory itself that we can apply to all of the units for that tier, which will be awesome. They are going to cost armaments per turn to have those active, so we'll kind of mouse through a few of these here. So we'll get the Rune of Frenzy, Resilience for spell resistance or charge reflection, Sundering attacks or glittering scales just for all units, which is a pretty insane effect. That will get immunity to contact effects and physical resistance. And then lastly, it causes fear. Also going to go show off the Bull Centaur renders, but the rest of these we'll kind of see as we go. Now, but the renders will get Murderous Charge, making them just amazing right off the bat. We'll get Devastating Flanker and Vanguard, which Murderous Charge plus Devastating Flanker is just silly. A Hellforged, which will allow them to be re-healed by Demonsmith's Reforge abilities. Insane. Then Blood Greed, which will give them more armor-piercing damage and a charge bonus and melee attack as long as they are slaughtering enemies. The next tier will get Strength from Flesh. They will heal as long as they're in melee, and they'll be able to cause terror. And lastly, we'll get the Bound Barrier Demon, allowing them to get barrier hit points as well. So you're only able to, I guess you're able to get as many upgrades as you're able to afford. So we'll see how far we can boost our Bull Centaurs. Should be a lot of fun. Alright, well let's come on in and we'll finally give it an in turn. More labor must be found before we feed the forges. Also, we've also got a quest issued. We need to have 8 units of any of the Hobgoblin variant. We'll get Gordo's Backstabber. And 500 labor. A recent uprising of Orc and Goblin laborers almost spilled over into full-blown rebellion, if not for the conniving actions of one of your Hobgoblin middle managers. Your informants tell you that the Hobgoblin had initially joined the rebellion before working his way into the inner circle of the rabble-rousers and promptly plunging his knife in every one of their backs. Of two things, there is little doubt. First, that the Hobgoblin's actions were not made as an act of loyalty to you, and secondly, the potential catastrophe to the supply lines has been averted by his backstabbing nature. Yet some damage has still been done, with the leaderless droves of escaped orcs and goblin laborers now scattered to join nearby war bosses. March out to claim back these losses from your workforce, and perhaps find this Hobgoblin to put him to more useful post. You also need to fight 3 battles to get 1500 treasury and more labor. More labor. All life other than that of the Dawi Czar only has value as a resource, a commodity of muscle and sinew to be amassed, exploited, and spent. Even now, the latent need for fresh labor increases with time, and the vast industries of your isolated empire ever hungering for more. You also need to gouge the world. Complete a building from the mine chain in outposts. How do you produce some raw materials? Plundered riches of the earth must find their way into your stockpiles, and so to this end, you must drill, dig, and delve deep into the rock, and filth the pursuit of treasures that lie below. No landscape shall be spared. I think it's 2,000 treasury and some labor. As well as apparently more labor. 3 quests at once. We're here for it. We can reach Dorj Devort, no problem. Let's go over here and clap this poor group. You have a bit of lore here, so pause if you'd like to go ahead and read on through. I won't this time. I've done quite a bit of reading, and I'd like to get some murder on. Astragoth, onward. Bruce? Let's go ahead and follow here in just a moment. This is a Fury victory. He does have quite a few archers there. But we have flyers now. So your archers mean nothing. Go ahead and move up behind. We can also win the battle. Oh, we can't go any other stances. Fair enough. We'll stay here like this then. And claim us a Dorj Devort. Onward to battle. Ooh, a settlement battle. And the Dawi Czar settlements always look incredible. Got all the smokestacks and the different fire pits everywhere. pits that just lead down to just magma stores. Such a lovely place to live. Definitely no issues with smoke inhalation. Go ahead and start deployment. These are also usually very well defendable by the likes of blunderbuss units, so we are going to be using a kind of combined teams here of goblin laborers and blunderbusses to clear a nice path. I need one of each here. We can deploy right up to the settlement. How unfortunate for you guys. So blunderbusses will have the Tarok up front. The Bale Taurus, or this isn't a Bale Taurus, this is just a simple red bull of Hashut. The most roided out bull you've ever seen. Ready to rip and tear. Probably feast on him some gallo flesh. I'm gonna have the teams of normal orc boys. But you can deploy all the way up to the settlement itself. I don't feel like this is how it's supposed to go. Usually you can kind of deploy a little ways further back here, and these areas here are usually white, but I will take it. Behind them will be our actual Dawi warriors. Astragoth, you're going to be on this side with the goblins and the shotgun boys. The ones that aren't already deployed. So this is a good attack group. I'm going to have actual renders rolling with Astragoth, so that'll be fixed up attack group. Something like this. You two in guard mode. Let it begin. Astragoth advance on into the settlement. Send the renders round wide. They're well back in the back. Interesting. I don't mind that at all. We can go ahead and advance you guys to about here. We can bring the Great Taurus on round wide. Big bull self. Bring the laborers this way. Astragoth should be able to annihilate that group of gobos. Alright, you boys will have you start moving up the hill here. Asgazar waddle. Actually, these other shotguns I'm going to pull to this top position here. I'll know you will. Stay just far enough back. You might be able to kind of power through into these orc boys, though. Which I think would be amusing. Save the goods, let them keep moving on in. We'll have the goblins move to take this position. Or just move to engage the wolf riders. Either one works for me. Archers are starting to fire. Actually getting pretty good shots. Go ahead and fall back. Those must be orc air boys, yeah. That does make sense. Great Taurus come on up at the top. And the goblins were braced, so I guess they were able to hold the line pretty well. Fairly surprised. Alright, send in the laborers, and then the normal chaos dwarf to go around them. Perfect. Astragoth, go ahead and go for the fire cloak there. Come on, everyone. Astragoth fighting goblins should work out pretty well. Spread out if you can there. Full centaurs. Alright, beautiful. Charge on in. They're working their way up this side. Everyone can chase them. Astragoth, you go after this group, chuck a bit of fire in them, and then charge into them. Goblins go capture the zone. Shotgun lads, go do your thing as well. Perfect. So looks like they're sending some archers around wide. We'll see if it works out for him. If you can't push through and go after these goblin archers, should be an easy slay for you. We've got them done and dusted. Let's go ahead and turn around and go after these air boys. We'll have the Great Taurus Both the Great Dwarves will go after you, and the Renders can help out with these Orc boys here. Blunderbusses advance to this position. There we go. Go ahead and have you go over the top and help out with these Goblin Archers. It was a fake all along. Yeah, our Death Mage is here now. We'll send you up to the other side. Capture this zone for me. Alright, zone has been captured. Go ahead and advance the lads to catching these Wolf Riders. You two keep moving on in. Blunderbuss can kind of do the same. Great push through the center. We'll go ahead and have the Laborers fall back and let the normal Chaos Dwarves do their thing. Zone captured very quickly. They do have their Lord engaged against that group. Go ahead and have our own shotguns move forward. The Laborers to get on this side. Send in the Orc boys, try to kind of around. Send them through the center. In fact, we'll go ahead and have them smash apart these goblins here. Charge them down just fine. Go for the Burning Wrath in this group of Orc boys and then keep charging. Shotgun should be good work there. You guys charge these Orc Arrow boys, which actually should be able to pretty easily duel with you. Renders, let's go ahead and help out our main boys here. Rook, you come through. Shotguns, you just post up here and obliterate these archers. That will be glorious. We'll go Cascading Fire Cloak here. Rip them apart. You two need to go ahead and fall back now. Our Blunderbuss is getting charged. Don't love to see that. They're in guard mode, so they will fire back. Great Taurus, get after this group of missile infantry. Every time they come outside of that wall there, they're gonna get annihilated. Our Renders get up this way. They should be fleeing to the hills. Looks like they're going all in on our Blunderbusses, but now they're doomed. Pull the goblins back a bit. Beautiful. Let's go ahead and have you a lot come back through. Shoot these archers to bits. Losing a few of our goblins back there. Great Taurus taking a little bit of damage. He's fine. He's fine. He knew what he signed up for. Goblins keep falling on back. Let these shotguns advance. Great Taurus trying to get on out of there. Astragoth throw the goodies. The Spear Leech coming on into. Go ahead and drop the Terror Bomb on this Great Taurus. Sit here and shoot these guys. Blunderbuss away. There it is. Pull the Turok back. Maul that group. Come on back in with the Centaur lads. Thankfully our Prophet's so heavily armored that their arrows are just doing nothing. Shotgun boys, do your thing. I mean, just insanely good damage. Go ahead and buff up these Blunderbusses so they're not getting torn up too much by the Orc boys. Make sure to get some good shots too. There it is. make yourself terrifying. Just go ahead and charge into melee. Look at them run. The scariest little stunty there ever was. And their archers still fighting. For now. There it is. Let's have these blunderbusses stop shooting into friendly units. Outnumbered, but never outgunned. Alright, still couldn't upgrade it past a close victory, but only 194 of our own fall. Most of the damage going to our Bull Centaur and the Great Taurus, as it probably should. We will go ahead and... we can sack them up so much. And so we shall. Give me the labor. And from there, Astragoth cannot actually claim it, but Bruce can, so we'll have him do it. This will turn also into... Let's actually go for a factory. We'll kind of have a balanced first province here. After this, we'll probably make a few more outposts. Secured. Faction destroyed. I've got ourselves a... oh, they've already had a Hobgoblin mustering camp. How unfortunate for us. We'll go ahead and tear this one on out. Actually, we'll keep the one in the factory for now, because we can't really exploit the raw materials we're bringing in. And we'll tear out the one in the Great Skull Lakes that we just built. How nice. From here, our next enemies are likely going to be these gobos here, the Dripped Fang. Pushing too far into the Mountains of Morn is going to get us into a fight with Grimgor pretty quickly. But if we can find him and declare war on his enemies also, that should actually work out for us in our own advantage. Yes, we do need to move in to secure Saber Mountain. Push through here, then Astragoth. We'll have Bruce do the recruiting. All he's really going to be able to bring in is a couple of Hobgoblins, so let's grab 3 Hobgoblin Archers for some more range. We'll just go with a double point into Tyrant, and then we'll get Spread Control and Survivalist. And Bruce, we'll go ahead and give you an upgrade to Spirit Leech. Actually, take it back. Let's go ahead and give you Inspiring Presence first. Excellent. Back at Zorn Uzkur, we will go for construction cost, recruitment cost reduction, income from refinery and armaments output, and then control. The living smokestacks is probably a very good one here for us. We're not building anything this turn, but we might next turn, though. We need a lot of raw materials, actually. Armaments for the upgrade here. Alright, cool. So let's go ahead and throw more labor into the magma pits. And then we'll just go ahead and snag the billowing smokestacks. Yep. And then we won't even need to rush this construction because it'll be done here next turn. Sweet. It's saving most of our labor for sitting back to Zarnagrund. Really, just Clan Ferric. Only for now. We'll just let Goramandi keep running wild for the time being. They stand 0 chance against the defenders of Uskalak. At least I hope they do. And we'll end the turn there. We have enough armaments that we could go ahead and increase the amount of warriors we have, but I'm gonna not. How about that? Alright, now the Tower of Zor has been unlocked for us, so we need to claim a seat. Tower of Zor is a hustle and bustle of workshops, forges, laborers, and warriors, and where the powerful meet to exert their influence over them. To hold sway over its ancient districts is a path of power in itself, both for you and all Dawizar. For claiming a seat, we'll get some labor and some conclave influence. The quotas must be met. If it's got a pulse, get it onto the production line. We also got a mission to construct a building for the assembly line to produce some armaments, which will give us some. Come on in here and see what we can claim. We've got kind of 3 districts that we're working with and tiers for each one, all the way up to the very top, which will allow us to confederate with the other 3 factions, which is quite awesome. We will have also buffs that are going to be active for all of the Dawizar, as long as each of those seats is filled, which is very cool. Let's see here. I'm actually thinking, for the most part, we're going to go for the industry district to start. Armaments produced each turn sounds very good. Gain and sell a random enchanted item. Extra replenishment rate. I'm thinking the raw materials is going to be the call here. Extra trade tariff and more relations with the Warriors of Chaos. Nope, definitely the industry district here with the raw materials. We will claim this seat right away. You can also spend your influence to steal a seat from another faction. This costs a little bit more. Alright, that's 100 more labor and 25 additional conclave influence, back up to 28. Can't quite reach the Saber Mountain, which is fine. We'll just drop into a camp stance, move up to Dorjnivort, have Bruce drop off his archers with you. All 3 of them. And then we'll have Astragoth recruit up. We do need Hobgoblin units to activate, or to finish this quest here. So we are at 3 out of 8. Let's go ahead and snag some sneaky gits and 1 more unit of archers. We have even 4. Bruce, I'm going to have you actually drop into March stance to possibly, hopefully gain your... There's a trait you get for staying in March stance for a few turns in a row, so that's what we're going to try to get. This will add 300 additional workload, but grant us 200 raw materials per turn. I'm thinking that's going to be the call here. Give us some raw materials to work with. We'll go ahead and send a little bit of labor back to Zardagrud. I think we can afford this one more time here. Then we're going to need to start punching some enemies. Ooh, that's going to be a little bit spooky. It'll be fine, though. Alright, for our next technology, we'll go ahead and grab Harbor Guilds. Gives us construction time for ports, which we don't have any of just yet. Tallest Towers is more line of sight, and then upkeep reduction and melee attack for all of our laborers and hobgoblins. That's going to be definitely the call there. Stronghold Syndrome. Unfortunate. But people make good use. Okay, as I was saying, quick deals. Varric still is wanting a non-aggression. Besides that, go ahead and talk to Grimgor's Ard boys, which they're at war with nobody right now. Weird. Okay, let's hope he doesn't come down here after us. And that'll be our turn. Alright, an uneventful intern. Alright, but we can now move on Saber Mountain if we wish. Groth is going to keep building up forces, so I think what we should do instead is keep Bruce here either in March or recruiting up some units. AI always likes to stop you from recruiting, so we'll grab just some kind of cheaper hobgoblin cutthroats and then maybe some more laborers. Something like that. That should get us up to the 8 we need to get Gordoz, and then we can go ahead and declare on these guys. We could get attacked from the direct south, but there's so much land to move across, I just don't think they're going to do it just yet. They don't like us, but I don't care. Astragoth, ready. Drop you into an ambush. I'm gonna go ahead and declare war on you there, Saberskin. And bring your big bellies over here to get shot. Going for gold was actually probably the play. But we'll see. See if it backfires. Let's get through. Any more deals we can get to, except for making one with Clan Ferric. I think it's a bad call. Too many Chaos factions would dislike that one. Alright, well, Gordoz is here now. Thank goodness. There's also 500 more labor to work with, so we are still sitting at 100% efficiency, thank goodness. And Gouge the World, so we've got that mine built up, so that gives us 100 more labor and 2,000 treasury. Military convoys are also now available. We need to have 700 raw materials. And also complete a trade with a military convoy. When it comes to lucrative commodities traded over vast distances, an unprotected consignment is an attack waiting to happen. No chances can be taken for your most important goods. An armed convoy will be necessary. We don't have a lot of goods to actually send on out for this convoy, though. Extended time spent on the plains of Zar has led these laborers to fully believe in their overlord's objectives, and are now seeking to prove their loyalty in battle. Now we need to go ahead and create a Manufactory. We have so many quests to boost up your economy here. Forgecast upgrade in the Hellforge. Alright, fair enough. Let's grab our next technology. Starved Wolves. Up to 50% more experience gain. That's pretty decent. Let's go for the tallest towers, though, to help out our control. The lower the control, the more your slaves will be accidentally slipping and falling into magma or rising up and getting punched in the face repeatedly. Nasty things like that. Go ahead and send more back to Zardagrund. Gordas. Bookstars. That's a lot of ogres. I want them to come out here towards me. Astragoth, you go ahead and stay in the ambush. Bruce will have you go into in-camp stance. And I guess just grab a few more laborers to swarm the field with. Kinda strange. They're improving, so they should not declare war on us. Who are we at war with right now? Ropsman clan?
Let's find somewhere quiet to talk.
I mean, I wouldn't mind joining your war with the Ropsman and you give me some gold. We want a trade agreement, though. Maybe not a bad idea to start, but we'll probably break it eventually and take their lands. You were all labor eventually. Alright, that should work out. See if we can get Saberskin to come try to stop us from recruiting. Don't really need any of those units. We'll just kind of wait till I have an ROR. Alright, we've got the armaments to not upgrade these guys, but we could go for the warriors. We just need to do it 5 times before we're able to get Frenzy, which is kind of more than I'm willing to spend. What do we need to have 5 total capacity to get Frenzy? I see. Well, you know what? Yeah, let's get access to a few more warriors. I think. Let's do it. That opens up our manufactory now, so we can go ahead and give those warriors some upgrades. If we so wish, we can go ahead and say Missile Infantry, act the Rune of Frenzy, which would cost us 8 armaments per unit of infantry we have. It would be 16 per turn, which we're only generating 10, so this would be a bad idea. But at least we know. Alright, perfect. Let's see if we can draw them into that ambush. Or military... Well, that's a thing. We'll send that convoy on next turn then. Versus. Alright, they failed to spot our ambush, you big old fools. Grot's in March stance for some reason. You can't attack anyone in March stance. Huh. What a bad idea. Well, let's butcher them. He does have a ton of saber tusks, so they can kind of get out in a way and surround our army pretty quickly. We'll definitely need to use our bull and our renders to deal with these saber tusks before coming after the Noblar trappers. It'll be kind of a weird one. Alright, so I've got a very kind of long first episode here. Let's set up everyone to deal with the Saber Tusk pack first. They do have Strider, I believe, so setting up in the woods... Well, they don't. How awesome. Setting up in the woods will be useful for us. They're also very bad against armor, so we'll go ahead and have them... Laborers meeting them first. Blunderbuss is firing in the units. Pretty much immediately. We'll have some sneaky hits ready to stop them from doing anything annoying on the side here. Gordas and Astragoth here. With the Renders and Taruk ready to come on in from the other side. We'll go Great Weapon Dwarfs, and then more Laborers in here. Meanwhile, all of our archers can kind of set up behind those sneaky hits in a double layer. Hobgobla Akazaz. I'll go ahead and show you all of the Hobgoblin units too. I don't mind them trying to throw stuff at our great Taurus, but all of these Novelar Trappers will have things to chuck at us. My favorite of the Goblin units, the Hobgoblin. Look at their hats. 10 out of 10 on the hats of the Hobgoblins. Playing as Zatan and Astragoth, they have quite a bit cooler uniforms where they're either dark red or blue. It'll look bad here with Astragoth. Our archers, and then our sneaky gits. Have some kind of horns protruding from their hats as well. This is the double shivs. We got Gordoz himself, who provides some pretty terrifying buffs to your Hobgoblins, makes them a force to be reckoned with. He's going to be kind of in his own army away from Astragoth at some point here, getting kind of a full Hobgoblin force. Alright, let's get everyone in their units. We'll go ahead and grab all of the main characters with the renders. Our infantry boys. Let's do guard mode for the goblins, and that's probably it. Guard mode maybe for the sneaky gits as well. We won't. Guard mode for everyone else, though. Alright. Let's get this battle started. Astragoth, go ahead and move in. Sneaky gets advanced, get those poison knives in. This first group here should be broken pretty aggressively. I think I'll go ahead and charge into the woods, get these axes in and working. Great Taurus jump in from behind here. They're going to try to keep cycle charging, we just gotta get aggressive with them. Shotguns, go ahead and rotate here. Sneaky gets, come on through. Keep advancing down the line. We'll have the Hobgoblin archers move up as well. Orc boys, really don't want you advancing too far, but if we've got most of your enemy already running, it's working out just fine. Gordoz has the Dagger of Malice ability, which gives him poison. Then we've got the Frigate Dice, which has kind of a rolls the dice. It has 3 effects: armor, resistance, or damage resistance total. Ward save, that is. Alright, he's taking a lot of damage there. Those axes in. Alright, everyone move into the trappers. Looks like the main ogres decided to run for the hills. Alright, pretty much broke the entire line. We won't be able to catch too many of them, but most of these trackers here are doomed. Glorious. Yes, most of their main army is going to go ahead and run for the hills. You're going to do what I can to run down the remainder of the enemy forces here. Catch you all in about a moment. Alright, a decisive victory over Sabreskin, but most of their army does actually manage to escape, which means the next couple battles are still going to be pretty brutal. We're going to go ahead and take the extra captain. 644 is too many to pass up. Right, President Talisman of Preservation now granted to Astragoth after his yoink done away. And having 700 raw materials now complete, so we've got Fruits of Labor completed as well. So 1,000 treasury and 100 labor. We've got a ton of labor now back in Uzkalak. We'll go ahead and send even more back to Zarnagrund for sacrifices. Just toss them in the fires. And then we'll go ahead and claim ourselves another seat, because we can. I'm thinking we want to quickly fill up the industry district for maximum output on raw materials and armaments. We're going to go ahead and grab extra income from... And you know what? We probably want to get... the Preceptor for even more... for some random followers and banners every 7 turns. I think this could actually... if we get good rolls, could play out in our favor even better than these two. Which are just making us strictly more gold. That seat has been claimed now. Do we get any goodies just off right off the start? I think the answer is no. And I smell us an ambush here. We're going to go ahead and grab the extra training here for our render. You can see what kind of skills that Gordoz Backstabber is going to have. So we can have the Fated ability, making him a better hero on the campaign map. Lucky giving him some ward save, and then Sneaky giving him Vanguard deployment for all Gordoz and all of the Hobgoblin units in your army, as well as Stock, which is just ridiculous. You'll also have the Giant Wolf mount when he gets high enough level. They need Stabbin, which is an ability that gives a hero or a lord less melee defense and armor. Bloodthirsty Rage gives him Frenzy, and then we've got kind of some abilities to buff up your Hobgoblins too, so less upkeep by 20% and 100% more experience gain. Stickum makes Them have more melee attack and weapon strength by 9 and 20% at max. Shoot 'em is more ammunition and missile strength for anything that has a bow, or for the hobgoblins, which is, again, ridiculous. 50% and 20% on those. Dodge 'em gives all of your hobgoblins better melee defense and missile resistance. Get 'em gives you more speed and charge bonus by 30% and 25%. Then Get the Gits allows you to summon in 3 hobgoblin cutthroats that are going to degrade over time, but are still a little bit better than even, especially as you have all the abilities already, they'll be even better than your clan rat summons from underneath, which is awesome. These also got your kind of normal melee line for like your goblins. Really solid. We're going to go ahead and grab a Bloody Blade to start. Stronger in combat, and Bruce will go ahead and give the upgraded Spear Leech. We can zap those heroes. But that, I believe, is going to be all the time I have got for today. Let's go ahead and actually first upgrade the factory here so we can get in. We're not really making that many in terms of raw materials, are we? But upgrading our factory would allow us to actually start producing some armaments. I think is a good idea. We'll go for the factory upgrade. The Great Skull Legs we can go for with gold. Interesting. Actually, probably a good idea. Go ahead and pop that one on in too. We'll go into the encamp stance. Gonna slowly walk up here. Where are those ambushing ogres at?
They're
They're doing a very good job of ambushing, aren't they? We couldn't reach the Saber Mountain either way, which apparently is something I didn't realize. Can't really afford that many more units either, so we'll have Bruce come up into raiding stance right behind Astragoth.
Hashut Ankor,
Hopefully they can't move past Astragoth to strike him directly. But he'll be generating us 43 gold and 24 laborers here, which is just excellent. Again, we don't really have the gold to send out any convoys. We actually don't have the money to build them up either. So what your convoy is you're going to be able to recruit up a specific hero, the convoy overseer, and then they will have a specific set of, or I guess a trait that determines their starting army, as well as gives them a couple of buffs to whatever that kind of the unit is that they're based on. We've got the Ogre Controller here, which gives us more allegiance points gained with Ogre Kingdoms, as well as some diplomatic relations. Then we've got the Centaur Bull Master, which gives them additional bull renders, melee defense, and charge bonus for those renders too. We would probably go for Urbarturus, the Unzailed. So we might as well go ahead and recruit him because he's a pretty good one. We'll keep him in here now. Drops our gold by a long shot. But we also really can't send him out. So you can buff up, you can send out outgoing either gold, armaments, or I believe you can do, is it just golden armaments? I thought it was also resources. But either way, you go and send out whichever you want to wherever you want. You can bring back labor, gold, or raw materials, depending. And whichever is the faction of wherever you're going to, you will gain an additional unit at the end of that convoy expedition as well, which is pretty dang cool. We have not a lot of any of these resources just yet, so we'll kind of go ahead and save till next turn. Beat some gold out of these ogres once more, and then we'll go ahead and send ourselves a convoy out. Just make sure there's nothing else we can get to here. Is Grimgor declared war on anyone just yet? I'd like to find out. No. It's likely going to be us. We need to keep an eye. He is right here next to the Falls of Doom. Dealing with a Smash Gutter quickly is going to be pretty important here. Go ahead and give it one more in turn, and then we'll probably end the episode there. Didn't just realize, I think because we caught them in March stance, that should have wiped out their whole army. So I was being a little bit cautious for no reason. Now we got the Colossus Tower, so reaching high above the putrid smog clouds. These spires are a symbol of Dabizar authority and required vantage point, giving us control and line of sight for all of our settlements. Oh, excellent. Our command over a Tower of Zor Preceptor seat has it generated an ancillary this turn. We've got the Eye of Hashut, making a Lord or hero have more damage and cause terror. Beautiful. Astragoth, you don't cause terror right now, so we'll give that to you. When we are in battle there. Excellent, so we'll move on in and claim the Saber Mountain now. We'll go ahead and surround them here, give this to Astragoth. And I guess there's really nothing in here, we can give that one over to the auto-resolve.
Makazia Thaumancy.
Let me just move up to normal stance then. And Astragoth and Bruce can deal with the Saber Mountain. Perfect. Well done, lads. We should lose pretty much no one here. We've got a swarm of laborers. Excellent stuff. We will go ahead and sack the settlement first, because we can go ahead and occupy things directly as certain levels, as long as we have a certain amount of conclave influence. We're going to go ahead and sack it first. Fight 3 battles, gives us a treasury and more labor. So we'll turn right back around with Bruce here and claim it as a tower. This should generate us even more conclave influence here. Actually, we've got a nice little kind of unique model for Saber Mountain where we've got the saber tusks kind of hanging out all over the place, which is pretty fun. We come on in here and grab the Fane Guard, troll routes, or just a donation barrel. I think here we'll grab the donation barrel. And then also, nothing else for now. Go ahead and send our convoy on out. So we'll grab her. Man, this is not a good name. We've got to give him a new name. We'll add him on in. And I think we're going to send him over to go all the way down to the Wizard Caliph's Palace. Let's max that out, the amount of gold we're sending out. We will head over to... I'd love to pick up some more labor. Valerie is sending out armaments, which we don't have. I guess we're going to the Demons, or the Great Hall of Greases then. It's not the most exciting. Wizard Caliph's Palace would give us 600 laborers. Or we could just go straight to Black Crag here for the resources. Let's go ahead and snag the extra laborers. So we'll send them on down to the Wizard Caliph's Palace, hopefully get us a nice construct out of this one. Beautiful. They are on away now. We'll also take a look now at our labor economy, because we've got 2 provinces under our control. We can actually send intake to the Path to the East, which I think we will for now. We don't have any real buildings that are going to be taking up workload, but we should be just kind of gathering them for when we do want to build up buildings in a hurry. In the meantime, though, I'm going to go ahead and pop in even more sacrifices for Zarnagrund. Here at Zornu's cool. You can pretty quickly move labor around as you wish. It's a very good screen here. But with that, that's going to be all the time I've got for today. Thank you all so much for talking about the first of our Astragoth Ironhand campaigns. If you all enjoyed the video, leave a like for the Light God and a sub for the sub throne. See you on the next one.